It opens with a large bird flying high above the wooded landscape below, revealing some form of settlements shrouded in darkness. We can immediately see that the setting of the game is medieval, which finally puts 2 years of speculation to rest and will likely be welcomed by many Age fans. And now, the big reveal. A medieval keep perched on a hilltop with a town extending down the hill. The art style looks very clean and colourful, with a lot of contrast between the farmland and the more built-up town. Something that jumps out is really how large the town looks. It's clearly a 3D environment that you can dive into, but it's completely unlike any Age game before it, which featured fixed perspective. The walls are also very large, with soldiers stationed on top of them. I'm sure this is going to appeal massively to the city builders out there, but I wonder how this will feel to play, given that the scale of the town seems quite large. Elevation clearly plays a large role too, with a very steep rise from the lower town area up toward the keep. Trying to identify some of the buildings here, this has to be a town centre. Just look at that bell. If you ring that, every villager on the map will know what time it is. We can also see what are clearly some houses, a church, an archery range, perhaps a market, and some kind of blacksmith. The church looks quite a lot larger than the other buildings around it, which I think is a nice touch. And I also noticed that in addition to the church on the low ground, there also seems to be some kind of larger church or cathedral on top of the hill next to the keep. This begs the question of why there are two different churches. It could be that the one on the hill is an English wonder and they are trying to defend it, or it could be that there's more than one type of religious building for the English, which could also make sense with the setting of the game. What's interesting is how the town has functional roads and pathways. You can see where the units are walking, and it seems as though they are keeping to the paths. This is interesting, since it hints at one of two things. Either Age of Empires is about to become much more of a city builder with stronghold-esque mechanics, or what excites me the most is that all of these paths and walkways could be procedurally generated. That, or I'm losing my mind at a very carefully crafted cinematic. What do you think? After we see another shot of the outside of the town, we see the invading army, and it's the Mongols. I just love how the villagers are running away as the English army marches out of the walls. The attention to detail is absolutely amazing. We can see spearmen, longbows, some kind of axemen, and then the lancers at the back here. Meanwhile, the Mongol army is rushing forward with trebuchets and siege towers, and foot soldiers wielding scimitars and mounted units with long blades as well. Oh man, this shot is so awesome. Seeing the army spilling over the top of the hill, it's like something out of a film. And then you can see the English longbows firing off flaming arrows from the battlements. The Mongol army also looks significantly different to the English. All of their units are unique when compared to the English warriors. Now this could signal a fundamental change to the Age of Empires series, whereby civilizations get completely unique units. In Age of Empires 1, 2, and 3, civilizations have all shared a pool of units, with a few unique units here or there for added flavor. Here we see something different, and if we now look at the behind the scenes trailer, we get to see a bit more of the Mongol town. Something that I noticed when looking at this still is that the shape of the building here looks the same as the English one here. This means that there is definitely some overlap in building silhouettes, even though the architectural style is drastically different. The same could be said about the English town centre, and then the one that I assume is the Mongol town centre in this camp. Now, this could mean that civilizations share the same types of buildings, but get unique units. Or perhaps the look of the units is different, but a swordsman is still a swordsman regardless of what civ it belongs to. The jury's out on that one. I do have to question how the game will feel to play when the buildings are all at off angles to one another. How easy will things be to identify if they are rotated in different ways and the classic silhouette is then broken? We'll have to see. Since this is more of a cinematic type trailer, the camera could be moving more freely than in actual gameplay. Watching the units fight, and again the contrast between the units and their surroundings is great. The animations look really detailed, and the trebuchets firing off and causing massive explosions just makes me giddy. You could also see the palings placed down with the archers stood behind them. This makes me question what kind of role palings could play in the game. Are they something you would manually build as a castle defense, or are they placed down by the archers themselves? There could definitely be some room for sort of, abilities or unit abilities, something like that. Standing on the rock seems to be the Mongol leaders. Could this be Genghis Khan himself? These three units look a lot different to the others. Maybe this is some sort of general unit like in the Total War series, or perhaps there are more than one special hero type unit, as you could see in something like Age of Mythology. Some other miscellaneous things. The bridge really stood out to me because so many people have asked for so many years for buildable bridges in-game. I do question whether this would be possible and how small rivers could affect your game. In this shot, you can see Mr. Wololo himself heading back to his church. The Mongol camp seems to have a number of wagons, which I wonder if they could potentially be trebuchets or rams, or perhaps the Mongols can be truly nomadic and move their buildings around too. The gameplay trailer didn't actually show the UI, but if we pause the behind the scenes trailer here, we can see a few more things. On the bottom left, there's a minimap, and you can see what looks like a gold and stone icon on it. Gold and stone in AoE4 confirmed. On the right side, we can see that confirmation with the UI wireframe showing population, food, wood, gold, and stone. So AoE4 will have 4 resources if this wireframe isn't lying to us, and they'll be the same resources as in Age of Empires 2. I feel so hyped for this. The trailer looks awesome in my opinion, and I really can't wait to see more. What stands out the most is the little details, and the art style is really appealing. It's not super realistic, and it's not too cartoony either. Instead, it finds a great middle ground that resembles a watercolor that I would happily hang in my room. Alright, I cannot contain my excitement anymore. I just hope that it won't be another 2 years until the next update. Finally, I have to acknowledge that it does seem very similar in some ways to Age of Empires 2. In the trailer, we see the English and the Mongols, to Age of Empires 2 civs. In the trailer, we see 4 resources and population, the same resources as Age of Empires 2. And we also see a lot of the same buildings featured as well. So I do wonder how Age of Empires 4 is going to distinguish itself from Age of Empires 2, as what we can see in this trailer is a very visually different style of game, but one which fundamentally shares a lot of characteristics of its earlier cousin. Obviously, with Age of Empires 2 DE just coming out, it doesn't seem to be too logical to make AoE2 DE 4 or whatever it would be. I don't really know, but I certainly hope that Age of Empires 4 can find a way to bring something new to the franchise. I definitely want to see new game mechanics, I want to see new features, and something that is going to not only give us a sense of familiarity, but provide us with new exciting gameplay. Obviously, if it's set in medieval history, then there is going to be some overlap. Age of Empires 4 and Age of Empires 2 will have similar civilizations. They will have similar styles of units. That is just the nature of the time period that the game is set in. So let's see what we see in the coming months or years. Who knows how far it really is from completion. But with this gameplay trailer looking quite polished, let's just hope we won't be waiting for too long. Anyway, thank you for watching. I've been ZeroEmpires, and I will see you next time.